The Xbox 360 era to me is the greatest era in the gaming Bible. So many franchises got their footing, online play became prevalent in the space, it was just awesome. And today I wanted to highlight an all-time classic from this generation, a title that can sit on the mountain of kings, Ride to Hell Retribution, an experience that needs to be seen to believe. If you have blessed your presence with it in the past, you already know what is about to happen. If not, your life will change forever after living through this story. We begin our journey driving down the open JPEG on a motorcycle, getting tossed straight into a turret segment for some reason. Who are we killing? I don't know. You'd be confused at first, then it all starts coming together slowly that you're living out the power fantasy of a 12-year-old with the face of it all, Jake Conway, a character who is the glue holding this entire operation together. This character is seriously something special, as you'll soon realize. After some crazy action scenes, we see Jake drive his motorcycle over a helicopter, but the whole thing just ended up being a ruse, a flash forward moment while he is having withdrawals on a bench, so maybe this will happen later down the line. If it does, I truly cannot wait to see why all of that transpired. I got off of Marcus Kincaid's bus, reuniting with my family. A guy named Mac and a fine young man whose nose takes up most of the real estate on his face. Spud wants to go outside and play. Everyone gets mad at him because it's after sunset. He does it anyways, so we need to chase after him. You may think I'm joking, but this is actually what is happening right now. Throughout the entirety of an 8-minute cutscene, that's literally all of value that happens. We eventually catch up to Mikey, that's his actual name, have a little chit chat. Jake, the man he is, decides to get the young sailor a burger, but oh no, this group of men who have partially red eyes are not happy with Mikey sitting in their turf. We leave because you can smell these people through the screen, a move they really did not appreciate. Like the bizarre kids from grade school who always followed you around, this gang did just that. Little did they know though, they are tailing after Jake Conway, a man possessing the power of QuickTime events to stop anyone who dares to approach his family. I murdered about 7 to 8 people, and somehow we still get stuck at gunpoint by the gang. It doesn't really make sense to me, but sure. Jake does a move you only see in the cinema. Mikey gets put into a headlock. I'm enthralled. My jacket is being questioned. Who purchased this denim for me? Mikey is at death's grip. Things are getting more serious by the second. Then slash, Mikey dies, Jake Conway gets shot, it's all over. This guy gives a look like someone opened his Pringles can without his permission. Everything is going south. Nope, just another flashback. You think a few bullets can stop Jake Conway? Ridiculous. This is the whole story setup. We're gonna go track down these gang members we saw and kill them all. A simple premise, propelled forward with the greatest character in gaming history, making this not just a game, but an experience. When I returned to the open JPEG, aimlessly driving in a straight line, I did a little bit of research, mainly because there was nothing else to do. This was supposed to be an open world game originally, and it got turned into what we have here, being a serious case of development hell. I'm only 20 minutes in, and I can already tell that was the case. I'm not gonna harp on that though, and just enjoy what we were given, because this game is nothing short of entertainment. Like, when you see a malnourished guy pretending he is Ryu walking out of a tractor trailer, you already know it's gonna be good. Unfortunately for him and his goons, he was not aware he tried intimidating the Conway kicker. Did it go well for him? Not at all. I introduced his throat to a piece of metal, and boom, right afterwards, a prostitute is throwing herself right onto Jake Conway's love machine. To Jake Conway's credit though, he does know his priorities, business over bitches. I spoke to a drug dealer that gave me information on a man named Anvil. I walked upstairs, that sneaky devil went down the stairs, and now I'm on the chase. I did an 1100-foot wheelie, did whatever this execution was, figured out some of the buttons on controller don't work, and I know the video title says Xbox 360, which is a lie, but also not really. I'm playing the PC version that I definitely spent money on and did not download for free, but only the A and B buttons work for QuickTime events, X and Y don't, so I'm forced to do a secret gaming technique by playing with both a controller and keyboard at the same time. I'm fine with it though. Anything for my father figure, Jake Conway. After chasing Anvil for 5 to 6 real-life minutes, he goes into a garage, casual sexism is dropped, women should not be working on a vehicle or doing anything else for that matter, they should only be in Jake Conway's kitchen. No other man involved, no other hobbies, Jake Conway all day, all hail King Jacob. She informs us her ex-husband took money from her, and the alpha male Jake Conway he's ready to help. I roll up to this goofball's house, his name is just Husband by the way, built like the Crimson Chin, telling me to get the fuck out of here. I'm not sure why he would be so silly to open his mouth to a man who is capable of doing this. It was not a close fight. Jake Conway is a terror that cannot be stopped. Sarah asks if I hurt her ex-husband while he is right behind her beaten on the ground, ready to reward me for my hard work. You may have had sex before, but have you ever had this? Fully clothed, hot, sweaty action on a bedbug-ridden mattress. Hour by hour, I wish I was born as Jake Conway. A guy with a Freddy Krueger claw cut hairstyle gives us a gun. Finally, we return back to the building that man Anvil ran inside of all that time ago. Now, this is the first moment I got to play for more than 5 minutes, actually doing something that isn't driving in a straight line. I'm moving, shooting, and killing. I feel like I'm playing a game after an hour and a half of game time. It took long enough, but we're here. And I'm sure everyone in this building wished I wasn't getting game time. I slaughtered every single person within these 4 walls. Every floor was mopped. Jake Conway reigns supreme. I can't even use words to describe what happened here. Just don't fuck with Jake. Not a single challenge came my way aside from Jason. He took like 500 bullets to kill. Never did I think a hockey mask would be this powerful, but I guess I've been living a lie. I met up with Anvil again, went inside of an elevator, and he escaped for the 3rd time. Matt comes by picking me up on his tricycle. I got my hands on an LMG. How? Jake Conway, that's how. I chased Anvil for quite a while. Apparently he shot 1 single time and hit my gas tank, giving me a timer. Just kidding, the timer was for him. He must have not known who was sitting in this sidecar. Everything starts glitching, fading straight into a death scene. Anvil won't crack about who ordered him to kill my family. Jake slashes his throat and does this. Immediately afterwards, we are on the prowl for our next victim. Mac tells us about a fight club, so Jake is going to join it. You've probably realized at this point, what we are looking at is the video game equivalent of The Rock. Anything he touches turns to gold, he has no flaws ever, he can do everything, everyone wants to have sex with him, he never looks weak, and Fight Club is no different. If there was an inkling in your mind that Jake Conway will fail at Fight Club, that is such a room temperature IQ thought to have. If you recall when the Conway kicker was born, he is back for blood and he's here to show his talents across the globe. Starting small by 1v6ing a group, picking on an old guy. After I help him, we race for some reason, but even when crashing into a car, respawning right in front of it for a double whammy, Jake Conway still comes out victorious. Is there anything he cannot do? These people seem to think so, calling me a rookie, a beginner they say, but the universe will soon understand I have never been the learner, always a master, even when going against my 2K create a superstar, overall 100, beaten and bloodied into the corner, this toothless oaf, defeated, a lumberjack, conquered, foot only, bringing me to the main event, Meat Hook. He starts cutting a promo on me, saying he's an honorable guy. Jake calls him out on that bullshit lie, building up the rivalry further. I start the fight charging up my power punch, at least I'm assuming that's why I'm doing this and couldn't move until Meat Hook hit me. It was just a ticking time bomb scenario for him anyways. My leg cannot be stopped. Meat Hook tried to cheat and grab a weapon. That didn't work either. I pulverized him, started antagonizing him in the corner. Who gave you the orders to kill my family? Jake Conway says. Before Meat Hook answers, his friend stabs him in the back, going straight into his heart and killing him. Don't worry, he's not really dead. It's all just part of the storyline. See you next week on Raw, buddy. We peel down the road after getting our glorious kill, talking on an ancient telephone to someone named Ellie. I don't know who this is. I think she was Mikey's girlfriend before he died. I'm not sure. She tells me I need to go see a drug doctor. I find him, he wants me to go deliver a package for him and avoid the pigs. If I do it, he'll tell me who the leader of the big bad gang is, forcing us all to ask the question, can Jake Conway finish this mission? Of course he can, it's fucking Jake Conway. One palm gripped on the handlebar, one holding a box, slaughtering cops, pulling off stunts. It's another day at the office. They can glitch on their motorcycles all they want. No mere mortal can stop Jake Conway. I returned to the doctor after dropping off his package, put his head up to the exhaust of my bike because he refused to hold his end of the bargain up. Eventually he cracked and told me the leader's name is Colt and I need to go see his girlfriend at a bar she works at. On my way there, I kept getting stuck in slow motion. The game kept glitching, and I understand it. You can't prevent Jake Conway from doing anything, at least by normal means, so you need to go under the hood, pulling whatever tactics off you can just to win. It's depressing, but I understand it. When I enter the bar, I see Naomi, who is supposedly Colt's girlfriend. She tells those two gentlemen that she has a boyfriend. They obviously don't care. This whole situation is just really strange to me. I don't remember Jake Conway ever talking to her, and why would you want to be with someone that's not him? Easy, you wouldn't. After killing the goons, who did try their best, I even gave them a chance to get a free hit. Didn't work, of course. Me and Naomi have fully clothed time on a pool table. Women exist to pleasure Jake Conway, that's all they're good for. At least that's what I'm picking up from the game. He must be packing some serious heat down below because Naomi looks like she's on another planet, while telling me where I can find her boyfriend Colt, or ex-boyfriend now. She just met Jake Conway, so whoever she was with doesn't matter anymore. And this is where I start getting confused with the logic of this game. We're shown an electric fence here, and I know what you're thinking. Jake Conway can probably just rip it out of the ground and throw it into the stratosphere. Surprisingly, he can't. So we kill a bunch of random people wearing yellow shirts, steal their gas tanker, drive it miles and miles away, run through an entire power plant, kill every single employee who dared to step foot in front of me, grab a rifle and shoot the tanker across the river to blow it up, I think disabling the electric fence. And could we have not just driven the tanker through the electric fence and broke it, and not did this entire section of the game? I just don't understand. Was it to elongate the lives of the people inside of this farm? When Jake Conway enters the area, everyone is fucked and they probably know it. Soldier after soldier, try as you will, you're just another number for my combat record. This girl was so impressed, she gave herself to Jake Conway, no questions asked, no comments, no idea who this was, fully clothed action, she disappeared, never mentioned again, Jake's on the move. We transported to a completely different game for a minute. I find Colt, he has the audacity to tell Jake he's not invited here, and nobody can talk to this fucking guy like that, so I tell him he's not invited to my planet. Jake shoots a tank, everything explodes, setting the whole farm ablaze. And for what seems like the 500th time my enemy gets away, I put my foot on this maggot, also known as a human, asking where Colt went. He's going to Scrapyard from Modern Warfare 2, so that's where we are going. And the only thing I can say about this area is there's a lot of killing, that's really it. It comes off as the final segment of Jake Conway's adventure, especially when we reach the end. Colt is on a turret, we need to kill him, it's as easy to do as it sounds, but they trick you after walking up to the turret. There's an ambush. I kept dying because of it, the only time it's happened so far. I have 2 Jasons in front, 2 in back, regular enemies, and Colt shooting at me. It's just a mess. So eventually I got the idea of triggering them to spawn, run back to the beginning of the area, and just pick them off slowly. When I did this though, Colt just died for no reason. I didn't even shoot him. He must have just known what was coming. And I'm not gonna blame someone for surrendering when Jake Conway is on the other team. It just makes sense. It's the logical thing to do. Colt failed his mission like the previous members of his crew, all falling one by one to the human equivalent of a god. No flaws, no weaknesses, all power, all man. Colt is a goner. But this wasn't even the end. There's still more. Who could possibly be more important than the leader of an entire gang? Apparently, a man named Greasy Steve. We listened to him spilling the beans of how there is a higher power than Colt, and how Steve is the little devil that killed Meat Hook before he told us this exact thing after we destroyed him in Fight Club. All blabbered to a newly seen man, 666. Postman Mutton Chops gets very tough with Steven, telling him Pretty Boy, a higher commanding officer, is not pleased with his previous fuck-ups, and it has now become this iteration of Wander's duty to take down this universe's only Colossus. We see Jake pull into a gas station, and a massive foreshadowing moment happens here. Can you guess what it is? There's no way you could. Steve runs his mouth. He's been waiting for Jake's bitch ass. He repeats everything we just heard in the last cutscene, but there's one more secret Jake does not know, so now we are on the chase. And words cannot describe how pathetic this all is. This sad, not knowing what shampoo and body wash is gentleman here thinks he can escape from the peak of humanity's grip. Kneel before the motorcycle master, you pathetic worm. But in iPhone 6 levels of mind-bending events, Jake Conway was outplayed behind the wheel, something that nobody has ever done, so he's walking away like Season 4 Atem. Jake returns to the gas station with that 16 out of 10 blonde muffin waiting for him. The moment she locked eyes, she knew he was the one. Before she opens herself to the love machine though, I need to bring her to a concert. And she's also going to tell me where Steve went. Obviously not as important. This was another Conway classic of killing 50 to 60 people with no issue whatsoever. Easy work. Upon completing his day at the office, not one, but 4 more women are ready to give themselves to Jake Conway. His body count rises by the day, and who could resist him? Clearly nobody. On my way out, Claudia calls me a lover boy and not God, so Jake just walks out saying nothing. She's not even worth his oxygen anymore after disrespecting him like that. He got what he wanted anyways, her to spread her legs, and she also told us Greasy Steve is participating in a race. One that Jake just rolls up to. I thought you would need to sign up or something, but nope, just accept Jake or die. Before the race even happened though, I feel like I need to mention there was an entirely pointless section. Crazy, I know. Aside from these people glitching around, shooting a building that's not me, there's nothing to even talk about. We were just getting a better engine for our bike that took over 20 minutes to accomplish. A ride to hell trademark, I see. The great race begins. We're tearing up some asphalt, getting close to Greasy Steve, and instead of being smart, riding behind Steven, shooting him in the back of his head, Jake just yells at the top of his lungs, "You're going to die, Steven," alerting him so he speeds away from me. This is just stupid to do, but who am I to question the Conway method? Steve is tossing dynamite at me while I'm on the chase. I'm eating it for breakfast, doing radical stunts as always. Just a typical ride to hell Retribution action segment until the ultimate wrench toss. Everything starts going in slow motion. I'm blasting the grease ball. He glitches, gets stuck on a piece of wood, and I continue on into the abyss. Yet again, the game tries pulling this shit, attempting to stop Jake Conway, thinking his arms are not long enough to box with God. Clearly, the game itself is not aware who the protagonist is. On attempt number 2, Steven is shot off the bike. He opens his mouth about Pretty Boy and how he is a higher up member on the food chain, even though we learned that in the cutscene we saw with 666 earlier, but sure. The secret Steve was keeping from us this whole time is that Pretty Boy has 2 sidemen, 666 and King Dick. That's it. I played a 40-minute segment just to learn that. Amazing. Jake tosses a dynamite. Steve's worth is no more. Boom, he's dead. Another buckle on the belt for Jake Conway. I return back to the village, and it turns out I don't need to find 666. He found me. After he talks down about my village, Matt comes out for the kill, misses completely, runs away, knowing Jake is a one-man army. Look at how scared these guys are. They don't even want to shoot me. This is what the aura of Jake Conway does to people. In seriousness though, my objective is apparently to protect Mac's garage, but there is no health bar to the building or anything. These goobers are just shooting it with nothing happening. Did the development team forget to put a health bar? Nonetheless, I killed everyone, asserting my dominance once more. The Ellie character I keep hearing about but never see tells Mac 666's base is at a sawmill. And as they say, big surprises come in big packages. The mass murderer is coming and there is no way to stop it. When I arrive, this lumberjack has the gall to raise his tongue at Jake Conway with one of the most ridiculous voices I have ever heard.
Listen, if you want to talk to 666, you need to speak to the right people. People like me, okay?
I haven't really said anything about the voice acting. It's all bad, but this guy is noteworthy enough to mention. When Jake is looking at someone like this, you know it's horrific. Lumberjack Man wants me to find packages of drugs he lost to enter the sawmill, ones that are radiating music for some reason. How the lumberjack couldn't find them is beyond me. Possibly this is all a Jake Conway exclusive, like his own version of echolocation. I bring this guy his packages and he wants me to do one final delivery. Whoop whoop, look at this jump. Fucking crazy. Oh no, the delivery was a trick and these men were waiting for me all along. Now, if you're gonna pull a stunt like that, you need to hire better men. These ranks were just decimated by Jake. I come back to the sawmill to kill that bastard, and I don't know why this cutscene is so blurry as with the next, and I'm not joking, the only thing in focus for both of them was Jake Conway. How fitting. I'm chasing after 666 on a motorcycle now. Why? I'm not even sure, I just am. And I don't know what the fuck happened on this ride. Like, Jake's controlling his bike with his brain, killing people who aren't there. Why do these people continue to challenge this guy? It genuinely perplexes me. After this illustrious chase segment, we go back to the sawmill again. This lunatic launches an entire truck at me, where I then need to go through the mill killing everyone. It's just crazy how much filler this game has. I've skipped over quite a few segments in this video because they add nothing to the story, just little bricks of lore to Jake Conway, and honestly being the only thing that matters. But why do we go to the sawmill, find packages, go back to the sawmill, kill the lumberjack, leave to a random area to chase 666 on a bike, then go back to the same sawmill for a third time? It just doesn't make sense. I guess I can take this time to talk about how the game doesn't feel optimized for PC at all. The aiming is dysfunctional. Surely you've seen it while I'm trying to shoot someone. Occasionally aim assist will activate while using a mouse. Other times your aim will just move on its own. The menu sensitivity does not affect your mouse's sensitivity at all. Like, I was not joking when I said this game does whatever it can to hinder Jake. It can try as it will though, nothing can truly pull it off. Not even 666 here, with his bizarre futuristic weaponry. I'm expected to use a crowbar against this, and which is stronger? The crowbar, obviously. This guy is lucky I'm not using my hands, because we all know Jake's just taking it easy. He could grab that thing by the blade and crush it in the palm of his hand, but there wouldn't be a battle if he did that, and Jake wants us to have fun. How nice of him. I quick time 666 to death, tie him up, stick him on a conveyor belt with a grinder at the end. He offers me the world, women, money, power. Doesn't matter, Jake already has all of that. Got my information about Pretty Boy and a guy named King Dick. Good night, bozo. On my quest to find King Richard, we hear a few punk-ass people talking about how they're seeing him later in the evening. Little did they know, the real king was in earshot of all of it. They try escaping, and this is where you fully understand Jake is becoming more powerful by the minute. Simply by aiming his pistol at this thug, Jake teleports straight to him, ready to deliver a knuckle sandwich. The king is at the strip club, he says. We arrive. He's not here. But this bartender talks about a woman. Boom, Jake is on it, heading straight to the trailer park. He almost kills himself on his way there because a girl looks at him, ready to throw herself at Jake while driving a car, obviously, just normal behavior. He pulls a stunt off to survive, kills a few police because he can, reaching said trailer park. Johnny viciously pounds on the door. Jake tells him to stop. We get back on the motorcycle for an unexplained reason. Susie riding pillion. Kablooey, Johnny is dead. Who are these people? No clue. But there is a serious twist here that shocks me as much as the motorcycle loss Jake took. Susie doesn't fuck Jake. It's a miracle. We get information on King Dick, but she doesn't jump on Jake's. I really can't believe it. She informs us King Ricardo is at the casinos. And this is yet another moment of nothing happening for a half hour, nothing even funny. Well, aside from this, I don't know what caused Jake to do it. Possibly it's a mating call. Does anyone know? Probably not. It's just astounding how many times this game says so much, but also so little simultaneously. All I needed to do is figure out that King Dick is hiding at a church. There's no reason why I'm hiding from a helicopter or murdering an entire city's police force. When I reach the King's church, this isn't just a fight for more information, it's a battle for a spot I deserve to be in, the podium of a church. Who else aside from Father Jacob should be standing there, being cheered and worshipped? Nobody. All of you goofballs are following the wrong person. Repent and accept the Conway. Where is Pretty Boy, Jake says. A skank named Brandy will give us the information. No idea who that is, but thanks for the info, pal. Take a sip from the fountain of Conway. I finally meet with the character who was only talked about in the folklores, Ellie. This was probably supposed to be a big moment. It wasn't. So where is this skank, I'm sure you're asking? Why, of course, she's at a racetrack, overseeing yet another race that I am going to participate in. And I think I'm finally starting to get it. Plot devices are unbelievably difficult to come by, so when you find a formula that works, you stick with it. Talk, drive motorcycle, kill, talk, drive motorcycle, kill. But they pulled a fast one here and switched it up on us. I had to drive motorcycle, then drive motorcycle again, just to prove my worth. Finally, after winning, that is where the action comes in. I love it. Now I need to go steal a motorcycle from a guy named Orson. Do these people care about anything aside from motorcycles? Regardless, this guy is hiding it at a mine, and we need to go get it. This place is being defended by 3 of the exact same people. I'm just kidding. You thought it was just 3 who look the same? Try everyone in the area. At least they put effort in to try and differentiate themselves by wearing unique shirts, but still, like, I can't wait to see who runs this clown show. Of course, it eventually got too overwhelming, even for Jake Conway. Now I'm stuck in a mine, and I'm shocked there's some creativity put into this. I need to blow up pieces of wood with dynamite, and I even got myself a new hat. Cool. After escaping, I found out Orson lives right next to a graveyard, for some reason. Coincidentally, Mikey is buried here, and members of the Devil's Hand are vandalizing his grave. How fucking dare you defile a Conway? Oh look, it's Orson. I can see why he hired the people he did back at that mine. They're all clones of himself. Whenever we get Ride to Hell Retribution 2, I'm more than positive he will be the antagonist. I, of course, rob the motorcycle Brandy wants, bring it to Freddy Krueger Claw Cut, rig this thing with explosives, says Jake Conway. Tyrell responds with giving me a nothing burger. I've already had like 10 so far, so why not? I eat the 15-minute burger, go back to get my explosive-riddled motorcycle, give it to Brandy, then follow her to go see Pretty Boy. Now, the game says when I arrive, detonate Brandy's bike to draw attention. Yes, because the LMG that I am blasting away with would not do that on its own. But why not? Just murder a bunch of people too. Might as well ensue fear into the public. Kneel before your master, you fucking maggots. No way, Pretty Boy is Julia Cotton. This whole Pretty Boy situation is just the cycle being repeated, literally. I reach the end of this chase, Pretty Boy is on the ground, snagged up, brought to an undisclosed location, hidden miles under the Earth's surface. Him tied up, an angry Jake Conway pacing back and forth, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but there's actually a meaningful tidbit dropped for the story. Jake's dad is dead, and he always thought as a child his dad went out to get milk and just never came back, but apparently not. Then Pretty Boy starts repeating stuff we already know. Like, was it necessary to tell us there was a kill order put on my family by the gang this far into the game? Even if we were never told this, we would have been able to figure it out on our own. Plus, we have been told this already, multiple times actually. You started strong, Pretty Boy, but you're now worthless to Jake Conway. Goodbye, arm. Have fun trying to drive a motorcycle now, bitch. As you do after killing someone, I go to a graveyard with Mac, who gives a bit more story on Jake Conway's family, telling us his dad raced a man by the name of John McKenzie, and with nothing in his possession, he bets his wife on the race. However, it was all just a trick. When Jake's unnamed dad lost the race, he tried escaping from Mr. McKenzie, but he couldn't and died because of it. Then someone comes by, tosses a grenade right at me and Mac, it explodes under Mac's feet, and he just falls over. Jake was perfectly fine too, he just staggers backwards a little bit. Grenade number 2 arrives, blows up Mac's motorcycle. Jake wasn't even fazed by this one, and from what I understand, grenades usually instantly kill someone when landing next to them because they explode. Apparently not to the Conway family, we're already on the road again. I just need to bring Mac home, he has a little boo-boo from the whole scuffle. If this world had access to the Conway bloodline and was able to reconstruct one of them, you could create the strongest army Earth has ever seen. These people are unstoppable. When I bring my scratched up uncle to his bed, Tyrell was waiting for me to get home so he could give me a phone call, asking if I wanted another nothing burger for dinner. Absolutely I do. I'll chase a military truck with weapons that got stolen, watch a cutscene of a guy telling us stuff we already know, and bring that truck back to you. No problem, Tyrell. After I watch Jake grab an RPG by the missile, Ellie is on the phone. "Help, Jake, help. The devil's hand are at our village." I return. "Oh no, Mac is dead." Listen to the conviction in Jake Conway's voice. He is terribly, terribly upset. Lost Valley Stadium, 8 p.m. I'll be there. Now, is this going to be a location that is action-packed, filled with exposition, or stuff we already know? How about all three? Surprise! Ellie is John McKenzie, aka Caesar's daughter. Is this important? Nope. Then Caesar goes on, and I'm not joking, a 4.5-minute monologue, repeating everything Max said at the graveyard about Jake's dad, in case we didn't hear it the first time. Finally, we are tasked to battle our way through a baseball stadium, taking out an entire army on our own. And I really hate this part, mainly this right here. A guy kept shooting rockets at me from that concrete structure, we'll call it. If a missile lands anywhere near you, Jake staggers around, not able to aim or shoot. By the time he recovers, this guy's already reloaded another missile, ready to shoot again. He killed me on repeat, and I spent more time here than I did against any boss or anywhere else in the whole game. But no matter the struggle, the inevitability of Jake Conway reaching his destination is written in the stars, just for Caesar to fucking leave, forcing me to chase him on a motorcycle. When this grade A segment began, I don't know what words I can use to describe it. I'm using an RPG, shooting and reloading with one arm, propelling missiles at opposing motorcycles that don't blow up when I shoot them. Ellie dies, and then everything explodes. The entirety of this chase section is just ridiculous. After that clown show, I'm avoiding gas tankers, hoping this goofball's missiles don't hit me, and to top it all off, I catch up to him, start quick timing him. Caesar then teleports forward, I catch up to him again, he cuts my brake line, Jake jumps onto his bike, trying to fold him like a chair. Jake jumps onto the ground, and Caesar goes right off the cliff, landing onto a rock, somehow surviving. And with perfect precision, Jake sparks a lighter, tosses it off the cliff, igniting the gas leak of Caesar's motorcycle, killing him. Ellie apparently stopped the motorcycle with a cut brake line and is perfectly fine. Jake picks her up to carry her off into the distance, and I'm sure she will throw herself at him because it's Jake Conway. All I can say here is what a fucking game. Seriously, there's just so much to unpack. A lot of people say this is one of the worst games ever made, and it honestly is. After everything we just witnessed, how could you not think that? There is so much wrong with Ride to Hell Retribution. No human could squeeze it all into one video. Horrible voice acting, repetitive game design, plentiful amounts of bugs and glitches, a story that repeats itself on numerous occasions, poor level design, unreal amounts of filler to pad out game time, over-sexualization of women to a deplorable degree, amongst so many other things. So for the Xbox 360 era, there aren't many games that can top this as being the worst. But, as I said in the beginning, Jake Conway is the glue that holds this game together. This character is one of the most ridiculous, dumbass things I have ever seen in a game. He's portrayed as like the human equivalent of a god, yet in reality, the guy is a dopey idiot that you cannot take seriously. The absurdity is taken to levels I've never seen with any character in any game. Him alone turns this game into a so bad it's good game. I was awaiting each and every stupid moment he would provide the further I went through the story, kind of turning me into a fan of Ride to Hell Retribution. Without him, it wouldn't be as memorable as it is, outside of the tedious nature of everything and just being awful. It's a lot like Two Worlds. The game is a piece of shit, but it's a good shit. And obviously, there's a lot more to the story than just game bad. Originally, Ride to Hell Retribution, again, was supposed to be an open world game, with you being able to drive primarily motorcycles, explaining the fetish everyone in the game seems to have with them through various towns and deserts. All that was announced in 2008, with the game being slated for release in 2009. It kept getting delayed, then eventually considered cancelled when Deep Silver Vienna Studio was shut down, even though it was never officially cancelled. But apparently, however you say this company's name, continued development on it, changing all that stuff around, restricting the game down to a linear style, and weirdly splitting the original project into 3 separate games. 1 is the game you just saw, 2 is Ride to Hell Route 666, which is an online multiplayer game released for Xbox Live Arcade and PlayStation Network, and 3rd is Ride to Hell Beatdown, that was released on mobile. This is a very peculiar situation, like we didn't even play the original game. There's no footage or builds of it that exist, even though a lot of the cutscenes, art, and concepts were finished before the original project was pseudo-cancelled. Unfortunately, it just doesn't exist in this reality. Some people wonder how it would be if we got the original game, and honestly, a part of me is glad we didn't, because we wouldn't have this version of Jake Conway. Ride to Hell Retribution will go down as one of the worst games in history, and probably the worst of the Xbox 360 era, but also entering itself into the so bad it's good category. If you somehow made it to the end, consider subscribing, be sure to leave a like and comment your thoughts about this stellar game down below. As always, take very good care of yourselves, and I hope to see you all again in the next video.